classic games and classic content. Today we're doing something a bit different. We're doing my all-time Spurs 11. Who's going to get in? Who's going to get out? But I'm not doing the questioning. It's the other two that are quizzing me. So let me introduce you. The person next to me, he really does make Matt Letizia look like a bland footballer. This fella plays for Southampton, England, and everything. He's my mate and your mate, Phil. How are you, Phil?
I'm grand. Really looking forward to this. We talk a lot about our favourite players and everything, so very interesting to see who makes it into the into your all-time 11.
Yeah, and down below me is the man who done a fantastic show this morning on the morning show with Ben and Brian and Mark Cousins, who jumped in. He still does rock a flat cap. I'll give him that. He's the one and only. He's Metallica's front man, Coover. How are you this evening, Coover?
Evening, lads. You're all right, Dermot. Looking forward to this one as well. How many Irishmen can you cram into a single first 11, eh?
Yeah, all left forwards. Right. So I'm now going to swap Phil to that because Phil's introducing it. And then let's get on with it.
Okay, so let us go to the...
Firstly, evening, Paul Brown. Good evening. It says evening all. Hopefully everyone's well. Yeah, we're all okay. Thank you very much for asking. Very kind.
There we go. So hopefully we can see that. It's as big as I can get it. So let's start with no place like numero 1. Who would be the goalkeeper? So if we just explain the rules that we're going to talk about. So they have to have been seen by you in your lifetime. So we're looking at late 70s through till, any time from then on. So let's make a start.
So I have to see them. So I can pick a player that I haven't seen.
Yeah, they have to be around in your era. So when you say see them, they can be on TV or anything like that. Right. But you, unfortunately, what it means is you can't pick Jimmy Greaves.
Big up Cody Max.
Yeah, you can Cody.
Right, so we're starting goalkeeper. Right, goalkeeper. I'm going to go for the Northern Ireland legend, Pat Jennings.
Okay. So silly question, but we're going to ask it anyway. Why would you go for Pat Jennings?
That fella had the biggest hands in football. I mean, he was a fantastic goalkeeper. I mean, that fella, he absolutely shot himself in the foot when we let him go to Arsenal. Absolutely stupid decision. So, yeah, no, big Pat for me. Met him once, absolute perfect gentleman. Absolutely love talking to him. So, yeah, Pat Jennings for me. He's one of our best goalkeepers. I would actually put Ray Clements as a sub goalkeeper if we were doing subs.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is who would have been very close to pinching the spot from Pat Jennings?
Ray Clements, because he was another fantastic goalkeeper, fantastic at Liverpool, fantastic and a great England goalkeeper as well. Fought with Peter Shilton, I think, for all them years as number one, up to I think the 82 World Cup. So yeah, so that's my goalkeeper.
Okay, right then. So shall we move on to your formation then? So you've gone 3-4-3, or we classing this as a 5-2-3? What? Just talk us through your formation. I've
actually gone for a 5-4-1 attacking sort of formation.
Okay.
Do it in the Tottenham edition. No point doing it any other way.
So let's talk to me about some of the centre backs first of all that didn't make it into your trio of centre backs.
Oh,
keep us in suspense for who did make it.
Well, there was the likes of. I mean, I wasn't around for Danny Blanchflower. If I could have picked him, he would have been in. Judas, I would have picked him actually because he was a decent defender.
Right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's the end of the stream. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Joining in. We'll see you when somebody with sanity is doing this.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a bit controversial there. And plays like that. Plays today like Leslie King didn't make my all-time 11.
Didn't? Cool. Nope. That's a tough call.
So my back three is going to be. I'll have.
Who's on the left then?
Who's on the left? I would have Richard Goff.
Okay, you can slot in there. To the right,
I would have Steve Perryman.
at centre back.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're in the middle.
I would have Gary Madbur.
Okay, so let's talk us through what made you come to those three, because obviously during our 40 odd years there's been a lot of centre backs. So what brought you to the three gentlemen above us there?
Well, Richard Goff had that great season with us in '87. Gary Madbur. Gary Madbur, absolute, legend of the club, great defender. And Steve Perryman, that man is hard as nails. There was either him or Paul Miller.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah, take Perryman out there, put Paul Miller in.
Poor Mr. Perryman.
No, he's going somewhere else.
Yeah. That looks a stronger back line, doesn't it?
Yeah. Paul Miller, again, a great defender for Tottenham in the early 80s for the 80s side. So, yeah, but I think that back four, like, with Jennings, Goff, Madbur and Miller, yeah, that's a top back. That's a top back four.
Would you say there's a little bit more steel there than the current back four?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Right, you're both losing it. Shall I solo this show?
What's just over to Cuba then? Cuba, what's your thoughts on Dermot's back three? I'm not going to ask about the keeper because it's a good choice, but the back three.
I think they're all solid choices. They're very good players. Paul Miller was really underrated. He was a total rock at the back there. Some of the ones you've got to leave out. That's what makes you cry on these little tasks. No Ledley King. Ooh, that's a tough one, isn't it? That is a rugged back four though. Back three. That's a serious bit of beef stopping the opposition. So couldn't argue from that point of view.
Okay, well let's move on then to the two wing backs. Who are we going to start with on the right, as if we can't have a little guess?
Oh, let me think now. Steve Perryman, because he was our right back in the 80s. So we'd actually have him as a wing back.
Okay. Let's just fill in number three, and then we can go back and talk about it. So who would you have at your left wing back?
Chris Hughton.
Let's see.
Had to get an Irish player in there.
Obviously. Okay, so let's talk through a couple of qualities of Steve Perryman, maybe to pull him in. What's your thoughts there?
Steve Perryman was a great right back for us in the 80s when he moved out of midfield, and he's got a great pair of legs in him as well. People seem to forget he could go. Steve Perryman was pretty nippy. So do you know what I mean? He was a great passer with the ball as well. He could pass the ball brilliantly. Chrissy Hughton does everything. What do you expect from a fullback? Strong, dependable. Good. He could pass the ball well, and if you want them to as your wing backs, I would trust them all day long. That back five for me will win us the league if we had them now. Personally.
Okay. So who would have been close, or who would be your two subs on the bench if you had a spare left wing back and a spare right wing back?
I would put, actually, this is going to be funny, but I would actually put I would actually put our current back line in Reguilon and what's the name of the other fellow?
Emerson.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would actually have them as subs.
Wow. I'm just gonna have a little say hello to some of the guys in the chat there. So good evening, Ben. Hope you've had a great day. Great show this morning. Evening to Mark. Oh, sorry, to So Spursy. Come on, you Spurs. Hello again. Nice of you to join us. Mark is in the house, saying Steve is in Exeter. I'm going to guess
he is. Yes.
Steve, is that Steve Perryman?
Yeah, Steve Perryman's in Exeter. Yeah.
Well, maybe we should pop to Exeter for a Christmas trip and see if we can bump into him. Catman Jess, Tottenham Tantrum Army, thanking you. Lovely to see
Catman
you.
Jess.
And Paul Brown. yeah. Jennings had shovels, he didn't have hands. Yep.
No.
Pretty
That
much.
man I was watching a thing last night, just going off this for a little bit. I was watching George Best last night. I'm like, Jesus, that George Best, what a player. What an absolute genius. Again, I was saying to you, wasn't it, Coover, or you, Phil, that like Gaza and George Best both flawed geniuses.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You had 10 years from 17 to 27 with George Best at his best. And Gaza, 3 or 4 years with us? 3 years with us, would you say, guys?
Yeah.
At his best. But he doesn't make my all-time Spurs 11, Gaza doesn't.
Okay, well, on that note, should we jump into who is in centre midfield for Dermot then? I
would have one. This player now would sort of fall back into a defensive midfield role. I'm going to have Graeme Roberts.
Get in.
Sure, that will be.
I was
why you have him as white ring there?
Yeah.
No, that's white wing.
Oh, hang on. All right. I'm number 8, aren't I?
I mean, there's a man. I would drop him back in front of Gareth Bale, sort of have him fall back, sort of thing.
Defensive midfielder.
Yeah, defensive midfielder.
Almost a little bit like that.
No, straight in front of Gareth Bale, so more central. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So where's whoever this is?
In the centre.
This is a big one, isn't it?
This is your pivotal role. This is. Who's that going to be then?
I'm going to have to go for my hero, one of my Spurs heroes. I've got 3 of them. I've got 2 of them in at the moment. Steve Perryman's my number 1, and this is my number 2, Glenn Hoddle.
Had to be, didn't that? Glenn Hoddle. Okay, let's talk through the qualities of this, and don't hold back. Let's start with the man, the legend that's Graeme Roberts. Let's talk you through why you brought him into this side.
Well, it's not because he loves our show and he watches it with his daughter. So if you're watching Graeme, good evening, sir. He's an absolute bed of nails. That fella could run through a brick beep house. I mean, if you're on a night out, you'll want Graeme Roberts with you to protect you. Because nobody will pick on you if you have Graeme Roberts next to you drinking with you. I mean, that's the player that got half his teeth knocked out, a bandage around his head, the doctor telling him he can't play in the cup final, and he's running out onto the pitch saying, you can't catch me. And then ignored all the other managers, I think Birkinshaw, to get him off. Sorry, I can't hear you with all the crowds, with all the noise. So that fella, he drew blood for us. I'd have him in any team. Glenn Hoddle, Glenn Hoddle's Glenn Hoddle, isn't he? I mean, he's a genius. What a genius that man was. I mean, he could pass the ball on the sixpence. I mean, he could pass the ball from the back 4 or back 3 to the striker, and it would land on your feet. I mean, some of his goals that he scored for us with the scissor kick against Manchester United, the goal he scored against Watford away.
Yeah. I think that was in Ellie's top moments, wasn't it? That's the chip over Tim Sherwood when the chip wasn't even on. We all watched it.
It wasn't Tim Sherwood in goal against Watford away in the 84-85 season.
Oh,
and
Steve,
then the goal.
Steve Sherwood.
Steve
Sherwood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tim Sherwood played for Blackburn.
Yeah, I was thinking, yes, Steve Sherwood in an all-in red kit, wasn't he?
Yeah. And then he scored that brilliant goal against Oxford in his last game at White Hart Lane. So, absolutely genius. So, they're my 2 midfielders. And Mark Cousins says Graeme was from my part of the world. Yeah, he was a Londoner. I think he was from Essex, wasn't he, Mark? I don't know if you can quote me that. He was somewhere in Essex anyway. He's an Essex lad. So
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Ben's comment. You bring that one up, Cooper. when I grow up, I want to be Graeme Roberts.
I'd still say that.
Yeah, same here.
I don't think you could go too far wrong, could you? Still,
I would love to get Graeme Roberts come on here and give us his all-time Spurs 11. I mean, that would be something else. What would he pick himself?
I know at least one of the players. He's already in your team.
Hoddle.
Well, actually, 3 players. Well, actually, there's a few now, isn't there? Yeah.
I think he would pick Chrissy Houghton, Steve Perryman, and Glenn Hoddle.
Yeah.
He's when we went to the Norwich game and he was doing his talk, he was saying he made it so crystal clear that Glenn Hoddle playing today would be even better than he was then because he could do everything on those mud bath pitches, whereas now when they're playing virtually on carpet, he's like, you just could not believe how skillful and how talented the guy was. And in his words of Steve Perryman were just as good. Utter respect. I remember him famously saying, he's like, when Steve Perryman spoke, you all stopped what you were doing and you listened. And he was that important that if Steve Perryman was out on the pitch and wanted to change the formation or players or anything like that, he had full authority to do it. That's how well respected he was in and around the club. So, you know, the guy, just a living legend. Absolute living legend.
Mark Cousins here saying, didn't know that. We signed him from Weymouth. Graeme Roberts. Before Weymouth, he was at Dorchester. I'm not sure if he actually played competitive matches for Dorchester. He was certainly on the books at one point there. And I remember being taken down and seeing Graeme Roberts play at Weymouth. And so I keep telling the same story. I'm not sure if it was him or not, but I'm hoping it was Graeme Roberts. Somebody standing in front of the chap throwing the ball, about to take the throw in, and just one of those ones that gets in your way, jumping up and down, won't shift. So if it was Graeme Roberts, I love this as well. Just taking the throw in anyway, just following through with the arms clattering into the bloke ahead of him. You know, then arguing with the referee like, well, he shouldn't have been there, should he? And it's just one of those things. It's got to be him because it sounds like him to me.
It just sounds every bit Graeme Roberts, doesn't it?
And then pleading innocence, yeah.
So looking at your two that you've got there, then Dermot. So who would be your two reserves for those two positions? So let's start with Graeme Roberts. Who would be your reserve, sort of central midfield or defensive midfielder there?
See, there's players like Dave Mackay and players like that you can't pick. I would probably have in that defensive midfielder Stefan Freund, who played for us.
Okay.
I would have him as reserve. And then for Glenn Hoddle's role, I would have to pick Gazza on the subs for Glenn Hoddle's role.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I wonder how varied across the Tottenham fan base it would be if we're leaving it here where you're choosing between Hoddle and Gascoigne. I wonder what the split would be. I would love to be able to find that out, but two players have just far and above their years, weren't they?
You got Van der Hart as well, another player that played in that position for us. You had some great players in that playmaker role for us over the years. But they would have been my two, Stefan Freund and Gazza as the backups.
Mark Cousins, Stefan Freund. Shoot!
Yeah.
Never did he?
No, he never scored for us, bless him. It was
did
like
he ever get a shot on target?
Yeah, he did. But it was like that Danish player that played for the other lot. He never scored, didn't it? He scored the winner against Germany in Euro 92.
Oh, Janssen, wasn't it?
Janssen, yeah. And then he got one after about 155 appearances or something.
So Ben's slightly disagreeing with you. I would pick both of them. Double creative pivot, Graeme Roberts holding the fort. I presume when he says both of them, he would have Gascoigne and Hoddle.
Yeah.
It's got to be,
Yeah, but I just in my formation, I just couldn't see the both of them working together, so that's why I've gone for this one.
Okay, and then a comment from So Spursy: the crest on the front of the shirt will always be bigger than the name on the back. Graeme Roberts.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
that's almost like end of broadcast, isn't it? It's
yeah.
like That's
Yeah,
it.
Well, my captain for this team would be Steve Perryman, by the way. And
Yeah.
assistant captain would be Graeme Roberts.
I mean,
Sorry,
you've got.
Gary Madbur.
I was going to say, yeah, you've got two big captains in there, haven't you, with Gary Madbur
Three.
and Steve Perryman.
Yeah, you've got three captains. Graeme Roberts, captain.
Graeme Roberts as well.
Paul Miller, I think, did Richard Goff captains us as well, I think.
Yeah, he's
Paul Miller,
good
I think,
captain
once.
material. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what you're looking at here is you've got a whole heap of leaders, haven't you? You know, no matter who's the captain, there's still, 6 or 7 leaders out there.
Just imagine trying to get past that sort of back six there.
No.
Alive.
I mean, you'd fancy those 6 against anyone to hold out a clean sheet, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You would.
And there's another player I've actually left out, which I will be bringing them in somewhere along the line, is Ozzy Ardiles and Rick Avila.
Yeah, see, 11 places. When you start looking over 45, 50 years of history, that doesn't leave many spaces, does it?
Well, there's sort of an 80s, 90s sort of an 80s feel to the team so far. All played in the 80s.
Okay, so let's have a look up at your right wing. So who's playing up at right wing? Your number 7 role.
I'm going to play him out of position, but I think he can do it. I'm going to go for Ozzy Ardiles.
Okay. Who did Ozzy get in ahead of?
For the right wing? No, sorry, take Ozzy out. Ozzy's on the bench. Sorry. Take Ozzy out. I was only joking about that, actually. That was a decoy.
Yeah, well, you got me. Go on then. Who you playing up at the right?
I'm playing Tony Galvin.
On the right, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Tony Galvin. Okay. Go on then. Talk to us about Tony Galvin.
That fella could run for Ireland. He was up and down that wing, like he was as tough as nails again. You see, all that 80 sides was tough as nails. You couldn't pick a fight with any of them because they all could handle themselves. So, do you know what I mean? I used to love watching Tony Galvin play. Socks to the bottom, no shin pads, just going for it. And he could cross the ball as well. Yeah, and he played for Ireland against England and Stuttgart in '88 when we beat you. So, that was a famous night. Chrissy Houghton and Tony Galvin were playing in that game.
Okay. So who would be your reserve for Tony? Ozzy? Is Ozzy the one that would drop into your bench?
Yeah. I would have Ozzy in the bench to replace Tony Galvin.
Okay. Let's have a look at your number 11 then, because we are now very rapidly running out of positions. You've got 2 choices left. So who's going for your left wing?
Oh, God. Now, I've had a few for this, and it's been going through my head. And I've been toying with 2, but I'm going to go for one. I'll have to go for David Ginola.
So David of the Ginola. What a player. Go on.
He may not have won I'm a Celeb to get me out of it, but it gets into my all-time Spurs 11. That man was just... He only spent 2 seasons with us, but Jesus, they were the 2 of the greatest years of watching a player play in my life.
Does it feel that he was there longer than 2 seasons? Because that never sounds right, but it does.
I mean, I took my ex-wife once to watch Tottenham, my first ever Tottenham game, and he was playing. And I said to her, "Are you enjoying the match?" She went, "Yeah, I'm enjoying watching Ginola's legs." So she was watching the whole match. But yeah, I mean, that goal he scored against Barnsley when he ran through the pitch. I mean, scored goals like against Manchester United. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Ginola gets into my thing. And who's on the bench?
I was going to say, who's going to be on your bench there?
Now, I could go back. There was Terry Dyson. I mean, I don't know if I can pick him or not, but Terry Dyson would be
before your time. We're sticking to our lifetimes, aren't we? Yeah.
I know, but if I could, I would. So I'd probably have to put Paul Allen on that. Paul Allen on that as a substitute for David Ginola.
Nice. Okay, just over to you then, Kuba. If you're looking at that attacking three there with Ginola, Hoddle, and Galvin, what's your thoughts on that? Doesn't look too bad, does it?
I think it's looking pretty sharp. Gutted about the can't get fit Gaza and Hoddle in the same team, but I suppose you've got to make some harsh choices on some of these positions, haven't you? That's probably the harshest one I think anybody has to make, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, it's a good thing. I'm thinking the same thing. Comment here from Mark Cousins. What about Bale? Because
Didn't rate him. I never rated Bale, and I'll be honest, that's my honest opinion. Thought he was great. He was great some of the time, but not all of the time.
I'm presuming Mark's talking first time round for Gareth Bale.
Yeah. I think Gareth Bale, I think he was great some of the time, but not all the time. The guy, he scored some great moments for us, but I just, no. He never was my favourite player.
Have we done these other comments as well? Ben Kaufman, every player on that team. You have?
No, I was saying no, we haven't got those yet.
Every player on that team is captain in my book. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just, it's so nice to be able to go through your all-time greats, isn't it? Yeah. It's just so many memories with each one of these players. Great comment. And then again, what have I?
Tony Galvin would be essential in getting beautiful Russian women with degrees in Russia. Yeah, he could speak Russian. He's learned Russian.
And at a period of time when most footballers, if they had an O level, they'd be nicknamed the Professor by their teammates. Yeah. That sort of thing.
God, yeah. Right. Okay, then. So we have one position left.
This is.
Hang on, before you say who it is, let's see if we can get some guesses in the comments, guys. Let's see who do you think Dermot's going to pick here. I'm giving you no clues other than they are after 1977, but let's see what the thoughts are. So, who was close to making this then? Because we've had a list of some unbelievable strikers, haven't we? So let's talk through some of the great strikers from your time then, Dermot.
I mean, you had, from 77, you had Garth Crooks, you had Steve Archibald, you had Gary Lineker, you had Jurgen Klinsmann, you had Teddy Sheringham, you had a lot of people can laugh at this, but Ian Moore, who played for us in the 70s, Jerry Armstrong. Them strikers that played for us in my time. I'm going to love some of these comments going to come up in a minute. I bet there's some obscure. But looking at you two faces.
Mark Cousins has just said, obviously Keane.
No, he's not in it. He's not in it. I've stayed away.
I think you spotted the theme with your thinking there, Dermot.
Yeah. Who else? Come on, get them up. Go on, get them up.
Yeah. Anybody else with a good guess here?
I'm going to have another good guess. Hang on.
I bet he will.
That's a fair shout. No,
it's not, Ben. It's a fair shout, but it's not.
That's Dermot's guess.
No, that was mine. Yeah, Berbatov.
Sorry, Phil's guess.
Yeah.
No, not Berbatov. I'm surprised you lot haven't guessed it yet.
Would it be anything to do with any potato chips?
No.
Oh, okay. No, Lineker.
Wow, and it's not Harry Kane?
No.
Who are we missing there? Garth Crooks?
No. I'm not telling you. You can guess all you want.
Well, you're going to have to at some point. Mark Cousins, Teddy Sheringham.
He's my reverse. He's my substitute.
Right.
He's on the subs bench. So Mike Cousins is right. He's on the subs bench.
There's another one for Robbie Keane. Thank you, Dan Hudson. Good guess as well.
It is actually.
It is.
It is Robbie Keane. Yeah.
Oh, you swine! I thought you were going for somebody else.
Oh Lord.
There, Ed said it. I thought it was.
Clive Allen was a very close, but he only had that one great season. Robbie Keane for me. I had to stick with the Irish theme as well. I mean,
when you went through that early 80s side and then you went on to Gary Lineker, I thought, hang on, you've missed that Clive Allen there. Perhaps
Yeah.
you're coming back to him.
No, but no,
Klinsmann, another great shout. Oh,
yeah, it is a great shout. He was. I've been picking out this team, and the striker has been racking my brains who to pick, but I have to pick Robbie King. I mean, that fella was genius. I mean, some of the goals he scored for us over the years was. I mean, you had Jermaine Defoe as well, another great striker for us.
Yeah, no one mentioned him.
No.
Here we go. Paul Brown, going over the calibre of players. Hard to believe that our trophy cabinet is so bare. Couldn't agree more.
No. I mean, it was a hard decision to strike. I mean, even as a substitute goalkeeper, a substitute striker, I could have 4 or 5. Graf Cook, Steve Archibald, I would have on the subs bench. Klinsmann, Lineker, Ivan, Berbatov.
I mean, you probably could do a whole reserve 11 just of strikers, couldn't you? And still not touch the surface. There's some fantastic players, and obviously you missed out Helder Postiga, the great striker.
Oh yeah,
Andy Booth, Raziak is shocking.
Jerry Armstrong as well, missed him.
Let's not forget that Gary Doherty, he could play up front.
And he was Irish,
I forgot him. Oh damn! I forgot him.
Yeah. Good comment there from Ben. Loved Keane, but Berbatov was unbelievable. Kane and Sheringham were ahead in my book. What's your thoughts on that one, then, Cougar?
Yes, pick any 2 out of those 4. I'll be happy with a partnership.
You'd be more than content, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you're playing lone strikers, I'll put Berbatov and Kane ahead of the other 2. But with partnerships in mind, Sheringham and Keane, fantastic.
Sorry,
Keane and Berbatov. I mean, we got to see that for a bit, didn't we? So
they had a great understanding together, didn't they?
It was a great partnership, right up where was one of any of the best we've had. But it's a tough choice on some of those. Ben Kaufman, Andy Reid,
there's another
the magician.
Yeah.
If he was a bit fitter at times, I thought he would have done all right for us. But there we go.
That's my all-time Tottenham 11. It's quite a short video, actually. We've done it within half an hour.
It is, isn't it?
It was clear and concise. It'd been interesting to know the guys in the comments. If you want to put your own team in, just pop them in, and maybe at a future date we'll bring somebody else on to do their 11. Because as you see, it's very easy to pick 11. It's not very easy, the amount of players and the quality of players you're leaving out, and every one of us is going to have a slightly different way of working. But
Ed M here put, I love Sheringham, but I was heartbroken when he left when he left to pick him. Yeah, Sheringham was a great striker for us, wasn't he, guys?
Yeah, Ben Jackson. We should have re-signed Dimitar Berbatov before he went to Fulham.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
came back to haunt us that game, didn't he? Didn't he score a winner in an awful Fulham site? And again, quality didn't celebrate. So, respect to the guy.
So what we're going to do? Should we get a little match up as well for a little bonus for all the people that are watching?
Good. So I was going to say we could almost do all 3 of our best 11s tonight.
Yeah, we could do, but that's for another show. So should we get half an hour match up?
Okay. I'm prepared again, but let's...
What do you think, Phil?
Well, you've said it now, so if we say no, we're going to look poor. So, let's go. Let's see if we've got a little quick highlight game.
Stop people running away, and I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Yes. And Phil, how was your day at Tottenham Hotspur? Did you sack any managers?
No, not today. I've been good today.
Have you worked out how to get rid of Levy yet?
No, still work in progress, but we will see. He's potentially got 17 days of his Tottenham career left before the poop hits the fan. So let's see what happens on 1st of Jan.
Yeah,
hopefully we don't go into a football break and it affects the transfer or the dealings or anything. But you know.
This morning, what a great show this morning as well, Cooper, with the Millwall Tottenham game.
Yeah, it came to me at the last moment with you obviously being away, and we thought, well, let's have a little background entertainment. It seemed to work well. I think that's our way forward for the morning sometimes, isn't it? I've found a little match. How about little Tottenham against Manchester United from back in 1990? Goes with the oh, hang on, that's the second part. Hang on, I've just got to find the first part of it. All right, let's pick a different one. Okay, sorry, still working on it. Oh, just a shortish one, shall we have to highlight?
A bit. Here we go. My cousin said he would like to see Liverpool Spurs 6th round of the cup. Now I'm trying to find that video, but I think I found it somewhere, so that will be on in the next few weeks. We have a list that we're going through, so it is on that list, I think. So we're seeing can we bounce it up. If anyone's got any games they would like to see, please let us know in the comments. But can I just say one thing before we get the stream up? I want to pay a personal thank you to Phil and Cooper. Today's been a difficult day for me personally. It's the anniversary of my daughter's birthday. She would have been 18 today. But I want to thank personally Phil and Cooper for being there for me today, being really good mates and brothers, and really picking me up when I felt down. And thank you again, Phil, for everything you do. Thank you, Cooper, for this morning. You've done a brilliant stream this morning with Ben and Brian and Mark Cousins, who came on as well. Thank you, Mark, as well. And I just want to personally thank every one of you and the whole of the Tantrum Gold Army for making me feel just a tiny bit better today. So thank you all very much. I just want to get that out before we start the stream. And also big up Bob Spur. I hope you're all right. Keep fighting, mate. And we will get there. But again, personally, thank you very much to my co-hosts and everyone on top of Tantrum Gold Army for making today a little bit better than it normally would be. So thank you very much indeed, all of you.
You're welcome, Dermot. We're all behind you, mate. It's family here, isn't it? Yeah. We've got a nice little tight knit team on Tantrum Gold and beyond. So yeah, we're there for each other when needed. And it was a pleasure sort of filling the great man's boots in the morning for hosting the show. So
you did a fantastic job, and Phil as well. Thank you very much for everything you've done today as well.
No worries, mate. All like Cooper said it. All here, right across the family. That's how I look at it. Just a big old family.
Finish off these little chats, and we'll have a bit more football, shall we?
Come on, let's get a game on. Let's see some.
Mark Cousins said I was there. You were, Mark. We were at the Liverpool match or on this morning. You're both, so you're both there.
Well, I've changed it from it's not the Liverpool match. We're going to do the I've found Spurs versus Everton from the 88-89 season, so sort of a follow on from what we watched this morning.
Rose. Sorry, I'm just going to read out Ben. So he had Lloris in goal, Rose, Vertonghen, King, and Madbur, and Kyle Walker, Modric, Dembele, Son, Kane, and Bale. So he hasn't got Hoddle or Gascoigne. Whoa! But again, not a bad look inside. A lot of pace in that side, isn't there?
It's hard to kind of argue against Modric and Dembele in the midfield.
I would love to play Ben's side against my side on FIFA. See how that worked out.
Do you know what? I don't know. I would be hard to pick between those. Still, I would say Ben's looks a fitter side. I think there's, with your side, you've just got, a lot of greats. But like you say, guys, you keep these coming in because there's a whole heap of different ones in there.
As Ben said, he's got to remember he's only 26, so of course Gascoigne and Hoddle not an option.
I know. See, we forget that because we just grew up with him. So very different for your likes of Ben.
Yeah,
I mean Ben talks like he's a grumpy old man, like one of us.
Yeah. Ben said this morning's stream. Ben Kaufman said this morning's stream was excellent. This morning, great family feel. Yes, Catman Jess. Hi, Catman Jess. Love you. Please come on one time. We'd love to get you on. Would love to watch Tottenham versus West Ham from 2007 at Upton Park with that famous Stellari goal. Yeah,
Yeah. And the goal scorer is Paul Stalteri.
But we found one even better one the other day. We found Tottenham beating West Ham at Upton Park 5-0. So we'll get both them matches up as well. We'll have a look for them.
And any game beating West Ham's good in our book, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, Ben. We underestimated how young you are, my friend.
Yeah.
And then we just presumed you're an old git like the rest of us.
And my cousin says Liverpool match and Ben is young, so not allowed, Hoddle.
Yeah.
Mark, I love your all-time Spurs 11. Actually, get that in. I would love to know that. So what game are we watching then, Mr. Cooper?
Yep, it's Spurs against Everton from the 1988-89 season. So it's Gascoigne and who else? We've got Chrissy Waddle. That's that era anyway.
So and again, very quickly, thank you to Simon at DocJive1 for the use of this game. The link for his site is going across the bottom. I will put that into the chat. But again, thank you, Simon. This is just, we're doing this offhand, but if you are watching, thank you very much indeed, DocJive1, for the use of this game.
Oh, shall I put it on then, shall I?
Let's go.
It's just that all-time Spurs 11 that all-time Spurs 11 went a bit quickly. So
it did. We know for next time.
Yeah.
Is that Pat Van der Hal there?
It is Pat Van der Hal. Has this match started halfway through?
I think
the start of the stream was mid-match. Don't forget, these are all coming off VHS, so some of the footage might even be destroyed partially. So just getting it onto the fact you can see it online at all is great stuff.
I can see Gary Madbur at the back there, looking. Eric the Viking in goal.
Ben Jackson put Tottenham 5, Arsenal 1, League Cup 2008. I am looking for that one. I am desperately looking for that one. So if you know where it is, Ben, let us know and we'll get it on for you. And then Paul Brown says, Grumpy Old Man is, I'll let you read that out, Cleveland.
Grumpy Old Man is a prerequisite for supporting Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Yeah, it seems to be.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's because we have the memories when times were a lot better. That's why. So a lot to complain about nowadays.
Tell you what, I forgot Gascoigne and Waddle in the same side.
Yeah.
Do you know? Can you imagine that summer we could have had Hoddle, Waddle, and Gazza on the same side?
Yeah.
Because Hoddle and Waddle were playing together. It was just Gazza we were missing.
And as we were saying earlier as well, could have had Richard Goff at the back as well.
Yeah. Paul Stewart was bought as a striker, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was. Yeah. And he struggled, so they dropped him back to midfield, and he thrived on that role.
Right, and Ben Kaufman says, "Gone ahead and get my first pint in a month, so catch you boys in the morning. Don't drink too much, Ben. Don't you come in with a hangover."
Thanks for watching him, Ben. And
thanks, Ben, and enjoy yourself tonight, and don't get into too much trouble.
God, he looks like Ben there, doesn't he, Gascoigne? Did you see that?
Oh, missed it. I was looking at Ben's comment.
But I think this. I'm sorry, guys, for the same, but it just came to me. We just thought we were going to do a football stick a game on. So I apologize. Sorry to you two for that. Oh, is that a goal or not? No.
God, I thought that was Lineker then at first thought. I was like, I know it's too late for him. That must be Kevin Sheely there, mustn't it?
Yeah. Ben put, I'm always in trouble. Yeah. We'll just stay out of it for tonight anyway. We don't need to hear you ring us up. I'm in the Nick. Can't come on. I'm in the local Nick house. There's Waddle. Waddle was a great player, wasn't he?
Certainly was. You could see how much his game developed after spending time with Glenn Hoddle as well.
Yeah.
Because Waddle always used to be the tricky winger, and he developed into so much more with his time with us.
I mean, when he came, I remember watching him against Sheffield Wednesday in the 92-93 season. It was his first game back at White Hart Lane, and he got an absolute brilliant reception from Spurs fans. So we always love our Hicks players. There's Never Southall, Wales goalkeeper. He seemed to go on forever, didn't he?
I wouldn't say we always love our ex-players, would you?
No.
I can think of a few we might not. Well, let's go with one to start with.
Do you mean that player who should not be named?
You nearly had him in your best 11 earlier.
Yeah, I was only winding you two up. Just trying to show a bit of conversatory for the street.
Yeah, I was thinking of Clive Allen up front.
Yeah.
Oh, of course,
Oh,
it's Robbie
what
Keane.
a goal!
Finish.
Bloody hell.
What
Paul
a
Walsh,
goal!
isn't it?
Yeah. There we go. There's the
Showed him
picture.
earlier today and said about,
Yeah.
he didn't score many goals. And then the 2 games actually played today, he scores in both of them. That's a beauty, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If Glenn Hoddle or Chris Waddle had scored that, they'd be raving about it.
Raving about it anyway. That is very much Hoddle-like, I think.
Yeah.
Because Southall was a good keeper, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You weren't just beating him from anywhere.
Paul Walsh actually came from Liverpool. Had a bit of a I don't mean to be nasty, but had a bit of a drink problem, didn't he? He loved the high life. So never really fulfilled his full potential really as a striker.
Yeah, it was always the question mark about him was did he score enough goals to justify his talent should have made a sort of more obvious contribution, but it was fantastic to watch. Full absolute bag of tricks, very skillful player, really easy on the eye as well. It's certainly a favourite of mine, but as I said, he should have got more goals. His talent deserved more. I think with the drinking side of things, that's a common story for so many players, especially around the 1980s and before, because we weren't raising awareness about its dangers so much. It was always encouraged by people. Still is. It's a drinking culture in the country.
Oh no, the man's going off. He must have tweaked something there, mustn't he?
Vinny sideways coming on for Port Gascoigne.
Why does his shorts look smaller than anyone else? Oh, that's Stuart McCall, isn't it? Didn't he score 2 goals in the cup final against Liverpool?
You know an awful lot about these Everton players, Phil. You sure you weren't an Everton fan?
Just a world of knowledge, mate.
Yeah.
Paul Brown there. Do you want to do that comment, do you, Cleaver? Or Phil?
Oh, hang on. Waddle, in my opinion, seriously underrated, often not included when discussing past players. I agree. I think he's always worth a mention. The player he developed into before he sold him to Marseille he just had everything. He had so much guile in his play. It developed from that tricky winger into the more Hoddle type player. He was picking the passes and being the sort of dictator of all the forward play, creative player, goal scorer, still winning had pace as well on top of it. It was fantastic, and had one of the best shoulder dips I've seen for beating a player. It really accentuated one side and then went with the other. It was fantastic.
I think Paul Walsh there just showed both aspects of his game, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Mark Cousins. 4-4-2, Eric the Viking, Walker, Gary Mabbs, my hero, Ledley King, Rose, Bale, Hoddle, Waddle, Lennon, Klinsmann, Kane. That's not a bad little side either,
That's
is it?
Great side. That's a great little side.
So he's got a back four of Walker and Rose with Mabbott and King. Then across the middle, Bale, Hoddle, Waddle and Lennon. Jesus, that is...
I was kind of tempted with Lennon when I'm thinking about mine, just because of that electrifying pace.
Do you know what? I actually forgot about Lennon myself personally. I actually forgot about Alan Lennon.
He's another one. I think his skills. He should have.
Oh, look, there's one of my players, Chrissy Hooton.
I think one of the best things about Lennon is, did you know that when he scored, Spurs never lost?
Yeah, that's true.
Well-known fact that, and it was like, whoa.
I mean, what do you think?
He didn't score enough, did he?
No.
I mean, you look at Chrissy Hooton there. I mean, what must he be thinking? Seeing all the class players go like Hoddle and Ozzy and Perryman and Do you know what I mean? He must have thought, "What are we building something else here?" Or because losing all them players is something.
I
else,
guess
isn't
the difference you had with the likes of Perryman at that age is he would have been quite old, wouldn't he? So it wasn't like we just let him go because we were trying to find somebody better. Paul Stewart, a bit of strength. Come on.
Oh,
my
deserved the
good
goal out of
God.
that. Deserved the goal for the run alone from Paul Stewart, didn't it?
But yeah, and I guess if you're at a club a long time, you do see people come and go, but God, that's some strength there, isn't it?
Well, Perryman himself, let's think about it. He's going from sort of the end of the Super Spurs era and all the way up to mid-80s.
Yeah.
So he'd been through it all. Relegation, European trophies, FA Cups. Ooh. He got a hold of that, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did. Is this a half an hour match, Cooper, or is it a full match?
Oh, it's much shorter than that. I think it's only about 20 minutes or so of footage. It tied in nicely with the game we showed during coffee mornings.
Paul Allen there, isn't it?
I really like Paul
He was
Allen.
a proper unsung hero, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Youngest player to play in the FA Cup, wasn't he? Final.
Yeah.
Paul Allen, 16. Played for West Ham. West Ham beat Arsenal in that game in 1980.
And he got clean through, didn't he? And then that bloke, what's his name? Willie Carr? Willie someone from Arsenal.
You sure you're not thinking of the Brighton game? Yeah. Is that the one when the keeper saved it and he should have scored?
No, that was Gary Stevens. No, in the 1980 FA Cup final, he was clean through and he got tripped from behind.
All right. Because Gary Stevens, for the Brighton game?
Yeah, he was playing for Brighton.
It wasn't Gary Stevens, I don't think.
It was Gary Stevens against Man United, where it was 2-2 on the first game, and he was clean through in the last minute.
I thought it was somebody else. Gary Stevens. All right, okay. Maybe you're right. Just didn't think it was Gary Stevens.
Oh, yeah.
Everton equalised 1-1. I know the one I can picture it. He was clean through, and he should have scored.
Yeah, Gary Bailey did a great save, but that was the chance for them to. Well, that's a good finish as well, isn't it? Let me know. Always wondering, should the keeper have done better there?
Yeah. I mean, who was in goal? Eric Torsbeck.
Yeah.
So no, it's impossible to save. Otherwise, he would have had it. Not having it. Shouldn't. You're not criticising Eric the Viking.
Oh dear. Good old Eric the Viking.
Naeem from the halfway line.
I suppose at this point you could say Everton themselves are in the same boat as us. They've had their little peak a few years earlier, and the team's starting to drift away now.
That play you were thinking about, Phil, was Gordon Smith for Brighton. That should have scored.
Right. Okay.
Because
Neil
it was
McDonald. I don't ever remember a Neil McDonald, I have to say.
It was the commentary by Peter Jones who said Smith must score, talking about the shot by Gordon Smith, which was saved by the Manchester United goalkeeper, Gary Bale.
But he some ways ended up at Everton, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, then before he went to Spain. Look at that bit of the old North Stand. I wonder if home fans or away fans stuck in there, Cooper.
Well, the North Stand. Trying to get my bearings now. Let's see. Is that the away end?
I thought it was up in that top right-hand corner. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to make out if there's it's just the top corner, isn't it?
That's the problem with that ground, wasn't it? It was much as it was a great ground, it was so small for, you think that we.
It was like I don't know your opinions on this, Phil.
Sorry.
I don't know what your opinions on this would be, but we had Sean on Dave's Irish Hotspur last night, and I put the question to him: as fans ever asked for this new stadium, I still would prefer the old White Hart Lane.
I prefer the atmosphere of the old stadium, but to compete in today's market, we need that stadium.
Yeah.
You talk about the guys I saw at the Enoch Out. They were talking that the boxing and the two NFL games were worth about over 100 million to the club. Now that's awful lot of transfer fee in there. And if we're still at this ground whilst we're closer and stuff, we just have to compete because obviously the chairman's not paying out. So it was almost like a harsh. It's like when you have to trade in your favourite old car, isn't it? That you need a new one. That the other one will get you there, but the one you're going to get is going to be warmer and smoother and better on fuel and stuff. But you don't want to let it go. But sometimes, unfortunately, you just have to. And this is one of those times where it will benefit our overall.
Cleveland, what do you say to Mark Cousins here?
Villa Park Lane.
With a Park Lane, Tottenham.
It was ferocious, the noise we generated in that old ground. It really was. It was intimidating for the away fans.
And players.
Yeah. We've talked about this one before with the fact that the shelf was along the side of the pitch when most teams had their sort of their hardcore fan areas tended to be at the end of the pitches, so we'd get the noise from. And I was spread across the entire pitch, the whole length of it. When the ground was rocking, it was just phenomenal noise levels. It was the place to be. All of my favourite memories are from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, I just got to jump out for a minute. Sorry.
I really put him down today, saying it didn't score enough goals. He's got 3 goals in 2 games on today's clips we've shown.
But he also missed a sitter, didn't he? But from there, that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ball in the back of the net, no matter how they go in.
Yeah, that's right.
He was alert and up for it there, and Southall. He obviously came out with hoping to pick that up, and ultimately caught in no man's land, wasn't he? Oh, that'd be a high boot today, wouldn't it?
It would. I think they were just starting to clamp down on things in the mid-80s, weren't they? It was you had to behave yourself a lot more on the pitch.
Yeah.
Having said that, certain Graeme Roberts, New Year's Day, 86 at Highbury. He didn't even get Graeme Roberts where he smashed Charlie Nicholas into the stands. He didn't even get booked for that. The referee told him off, and it was just amazing.
Paul Brown here's got a question, or he's got a quote saying, aside from nostalgia of the 80s players, goals, etc., standout recollections would be the questionable shorts and hairstyles.
Yeah, sure enough.
We are, not to preempt everything, guys, but we have on our plan that we did, we are looking at a potentially horrendous 11 haircut 11.
And then Mark Cousins says Coover was Welsh top goal scorer.
There you
go. Possibly.
And that's the end of the match. Tottenham won, Everton won.
No, Spurs won 2-1.
Did they?
Yeah, Spurs 2-1. Paul Walsh,
right.
Both goals.
I missed the goal. Sorry, I missed the goal, so no longer one. Sorry.
I wonder where you were like, hey, what? But yeah, no,
I tell you one thing, today has just not been my day. Everything's just gone that's not been my month. I swear to God, I bet Lee's got one of those voodoo dolls and he's sticking it into me like. Hang on.
Well, I'm going to say a big shout out to everybody that's tuned in and come and listen to Dermot's all-time 11, and also to watch the game. It's been great to have everyone in. I'm going to re-emphasise and thank Simon at Duck Jive just for the use of the video, because it's it helps us to be what we are, and just a big bit of love to Dermot. We all know it's been a tough day for you, and I'm just glad that we're here and, wishing you all the very best. So I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to get it making anything heavy. But I would like to thank everyone for tuning in, and we will be back very soon.
We're coming back tomorrow evening. We're looking to do, if the Leicester game is on, we will be doing the Leicester game for an old watch along. And we're looking at the 1982 FA Cup semi-final, Tottenham away to Leicester at Tottenham at Villa Park.
Anything for your good self there, Kuba?
No, I'm just trying to think if Paul Walsh was top scorer that season that we were just watching. He must have been up there because we were limited with strikers. And
it was only going to be him or Paul Stewart, wasn't it? Or Gascoigne.
Yeah, I'm wondering, did Gazza get ahead on goals? He might have. I'll have to look that up. I honestly can't remember. It's sort of a come down because we just had Clive Allen in previous seasons banging in 49, and it felt like suddenly nobody could score goals compared to that.
Should we put it on our homework for tomorrow, and we'll announce it on tomorrow?
Thank you very much, Paul. Very kind of you. Thank you so much indeed. And also, he was in the two videos, so thank you for that.
So makes him top scorer from us.
Certainly top scorer on the day.
All right.
Right then, guys. Thank you ever so much for everything. Over to you, Dermot. Anything for you? Last little comments for you, sir?
Yeah, I want to say thank you for everyone for being so kind today to the boys. Bob's Bar, we're all behind you. Get well soon. Brian's on his way over, so have a safe flight, Brian. And I've got to say one more thing. Levy fecking out.
Levy out. Come on, you Spurs.